Y is 2. Good. Okay, now I'm going to graph both of these on the same graph, okay, on one of the little graphs that we cut out. Okay, and again, I chose points that were small enough that would fit on this graph, points that were less than 5, okay, or 5 or less. So -1, -4 goes here. 0, -1 here. 1, 2 here, and 2, 5. Okay, that's my original line, okay, f of x. Now, if you're like me, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I want to make my line perfectly straight, okay? One easy way to do that is use the edge of your calculator, okay? That's one that way that has a straight edge that people like to use. Okay, I'm just going to make it straight this way. Make sure you put arrows on the end. Okay, and I'm going to label it and make sure that I know that this is f of x, okay? This is my original one. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my second graph, okay? My second table, I'm going to graph it -4, -1, right there. 0, sorry, -1, 0, right there. 2, 1, right here. And 5, 2, right there. Okay, and then again, I'm going to line it up. That's f inverse, f -1 of x. Okay, that way I know which one is which. And one last line I'm going to put on there is the line I talked about at the beginning, the line of reflection. Okay, it's y equals x. It's a perfect diagonal. Goes through the corner of every single box right here. Okay, right through the origin, the corner of every single box. And I'm going to do a dashed line, okay, because that's not really part of my graph, but I just want to show that it should go right through the middle of my graph. My graph is symmetrical about that line. Okay, you can see it cuts right in half. It's the line of reflection. You can see how it reflects across there. Okay, those two are probably the longest problems that we're going to do, okay? The rest of them are a little bit shorter and faster, but we can glue this graph in right there, okay? There's glue, sticks, or tape in the back. And again, on the practice, there's only, I think, one that you have to graph. The rest are just working on the equations. Okay, number 3. We're going to be doing the same thing, okay? It's f of x equals x squared. Okay, and when you see these where it's squared, they're also going to have this little semicolon with x is greater than or equal to 0 next to it, okay? This is the function that you're solving. This is giving you more information about the graph of the function, okay, which I'm going to explain in just a minute. But first, we'll solve it, and then I'll explain what this is saying, okay? But this is the function, and they're giving you information about the domain of the graph of the function. So we've got f of x equals x squared. We're going to do it the same way as we did the other ones, okay? What was our first move? All right, change f of x to y, exactly. Y equals x squared. Then switch x and y, exactly. Switch x and y. So now it's going to be x equals y squared. Then what? All right. We do, yes, good. Root it. We're going to solve for y, okay? It's squared. So to undo squared, we have to square root. We have to root it, okay? And that gives me square root of x equals this squared and the square root cancel each other out, so that makes this is our inverse. Okay, this one, I like this one because it's perfectly easy to see. The original is x squared. The inverse is the square root of x. Okay, we already know those are opposites of each other. Okay, it's really obvious to see that those are two opposites. Right, and this one, we already have a graph. Okay, we have the graph of this one, it's right here. So let's glue that one down.